And we're live.
Truth.
So far, so good.
Don't tempt me.
What's that?
I said, don't tempt me.
Don't tempt you.
Yeah. The whole so far, so good thing.
Ah. Why not tempt you? Tempt you what?
I don't know.
To not be good?
To not be live. You know, like as in dead.
Are you having a hard time?
Oh, today was a day. By the way, I think last time when my audio cut out, I think that was me. Like when I couldn't hear you at all.
Yeah. Well, we got new internet today, so it's faster and stronger and
That's
cheaper.
good.
And cheaper.
Well, that's even better. Mine would. I think it's the headphones, the earbuds. I'll see if they still work. But I was listening to Spotify, and it was just all of a sudden, I could see the thing was still going, but couldn't hear anything.
Ah, and you were reminded.
So I was like, I guess that might have been me. Oh.
As usual, Golden Opens.
Not a sponsor, but should be.
Sponsor. Hello, Washalot. Nishalot. I'm really building this up in layers of glazes. One of these days I'll start at the top and work my way to the bottom instead of trying to work over wet stuff. Okay, probably I really won't, but I keep pushing the boat. If I'm being honest. If I did that, I'd stick my arm in the paint, wet paint, a lot less.
Yeah.
So did you catch I reread the submission guidelines on that story?
Yeah, so you have like 7,000 left to play with?
Well, less now.
Well.
One thing I didn't do that I can go back and kind of play around with a little bit now.
Yeah.
Is I didn't describe really any of the villains, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Let me describe how my goblins differ from everybody else's picture of a goblin or whatever. But I do have enough room now to maybe take it as far as I wanted to.
That's good.
And now I'm not sure if I want to submit there.
Ugh.
Because there's another venue that will pay more.
Ugh.
So I'm really debating on whether or not I should go the route that I was originally writing it for or not, because the publication pay there is kind of a joke for the amount of words that they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first place for a 10 to 15,000 word story is offering a $200, $250. Mainly why I was considering it in the first place was because they are skilled enough to put out regular books and anthologies. So they're talking about, if you win, then you might get an offer to write in this universe or whatever. And
Yeah.
I guess it would depend on what the offer was, right? But
Always.
my thinking was if they're motivated and they're motivated, then it could lead to something more,
Yeah.
But looking at the pay, I'm kind of worried that anyone is writing for them for that kind of pay, which figures out in the third place winner will make 0.06 cents
Wow.
per word. So it's basically a token payment.
Yeah.
The publisher who's bought most of my recent stories is interested in it no matter how long it runs.
Ooh. Yeah.
And that publisher always pays. Sometimes he has to pay in payments,
Yeah.
but even his payments are what the first place winners are getting. So it'll be like basically winning first place 6 times or something like that.
Hmm.
But the only issue I've got with that one is that it's not. I think he's bought 6 stories that he hasn't actually published yet.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see him publish them.
Yeah. I bought one of mine like that. I thought that was kind of strange.
Yeah, well, like I was talking to him, your name came up, and he was looking for. Actually, I think it came up in relation to the horror story that you were working on.
Oh yeah,
Because I have a horror story he was looking at,
yeah,
and he's like, "Well, I don't know where to publish this." You know what I mean?
right.
Because he didn't have anyone else that was, I guess, submitting that type of story. And I was like, "Well, Brett has one, and I think he's looking to shop." I didn't know if you were or not, because I know you were trying to. I thought maybe you were going to put it in Writers of the Future.
Well, originally that was the plan, but then I had that other idea and thought I could get it done faster. That was wrong.
Is it done?
No, it's not. If it was done, I'd worry. I mean, I just thought the story that you're talking, the horror one, I thought was not the right. It's not right for writers of the future. I don't think. I mean, I guess I could be self-rejecting, but you know, they're pretty clear they're not super thrilled with horror stuff.
Right, horror is a hard sell, but like I said, it really, like me and Jake said, unfortunately, probably, it really feels like it's already a sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
Like it's in the flavor of Star Trek, and I think Jake said he thought it was Sphere, right?
No, he said Event Horizon.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Same author, different book.
Which
Never mind.
now, I've seen Event Horizon because I saw it in theaters with my dad, of all people. I think we both walked out of that one going, huh. But
that that period, I don't know if it's changed much, but that period, like everything that Sam Neill was in,
yeah,
was weird shit.
yeah, he did have a spell of weird stuff. But
And I think I'm confusing that with Spear again, but
well, I can kind of see they both kind of have
that.
that, yeah, messing with your thoughts and whatnot. And I don't think mine goes as far into that as those two did, but I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But the fantasy one I'm working on, which I'm enjoying, and there were parts that I was worried about that you and Jake didn't say anything about, so I was like, all right, those must be okay. So,
Well, no, like if me and Jake would qualify as telling you it's not okay, really.
well, no, it's just, you know how sometimes you're going through and you're with a text and or a draft and you're like, I'm not exactly sure if this is going to work, but it's like, well, you know, let's just see if it works. But you kind of have a little thing in the back of your head thinking, you know, like this could be a problem, and you kind of you know what the problem could be, and you want to see if anyone else thinks it's a problem, just to see if you're right.
Is it just to see if you're right, or just to see if, like, because you like it and you don't want to get rid of it, but you know that if people pick up on it, then you kind of have to.
Right. So there were parts like that. You know, I was just like, all right, screw it. We're going to try this out. We're going to see how it works. And there were parts. Jake had a comment about one particular scene that I had had the idea that he suggested, but I had decided against it because I was running against the deadline. But now that I don't have to worry about the deadline and that word count's actually kind of small, I'm like, all right, now I might go back through and actually put that in.
That's amazing when you think about it, right? Like once that freedom from the deadline comes in.
Yeah. And it may be that I eventually don't do it, but because I mean I had a reason for it. There was that part on the ice that I'm okay with the idea that the protagonist is just kind of being stubborn and dumb. You know, he thinks he knows everything, that kind of stuff, and he obviously doesn't. But I had also kind of thought about, because there's a tiny little reference to that dwarven area, and I like how I'm gesturing towards where it is in my brain. But
I'm not even looking because I'm paying attention to this. But yeah,
yeah, well, I just realized I was pointing towards it as if it was actually there. But
that's probably a good thing.
yeah, so
That means you're going crazy. One of the two.
yeah, so it's kind of there. Like, it's the premise, I guess, for his suggestion was already there, and like I had thought about it, and then I just was like, I don't have time to, like, it's not supposed to be that big of a scene, and I already thought it was kind of long, so we'll see.
Yeah, sometimes we focus on stuff that you're not focused on, or we feel like there's more emphasis put on it.
Yeah.
You know, that actually, I think that happens to everybody.
Probably.
Like one of your comments, I think maybe the time before last, it might be the last time, was on dialogue that you didn't like. He didn't like the way somebody was talking, but that's the established way they were talking. And Jake was like, he had read through it, and he was like, he thought they were supposed to be fighting the dragon. It's like, they're not. They're acting like they're trying to save the dragon. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that was kind of established in the first part of it.
Yeah, he kind of missed that part, did he? Yeah, I did have a comment about one of your pieces of dialogue, just because.
And it was just
a tiny little part, but it just.
Yeah, because he repeats himself sometimes, but he repeats himself sometimes.
Yeah, thanks. So, whatever. It just,
No, I definitely understood it. Like what you were saying, like, oh, that's repetitive, and I'm like, yeah, if you were looking, he's kind of been repetitive. It's like one of those English things that repeat certain things.
I like how I leaned into the mic when I do that. Sorry. Ugh. Oh, goodness. Ishalot's here, and he's been here, and I was not in the comments and did not see him. I am
Oh, I
sorry,
did.
Ishalot, if you're still there.
Yeah, I said hi. I didn't catch the second comment. I don't know if he's still there.
I don't know. I feel terrible now. He's like our third person.
Yeah, he's one of our common visitors.
Yeah.
He said something about being almost finished with his General Zod.
Cool.
I think he posted his General Zod, but maybe he's the one that keeps posting. Like somebody keeps posting like every stage of the way, and it's like, don't post that in finished because it's not finished. If you want to post that in work in progress or whatever, that's the place to do it. But finished is the place for the people that are finished, and if you post a lot of non-finished stuff, it'll clutter it, and people won't see the ones that are finished. Yeah, so it was cool enough to take all the ACs out and everything else today, or the last couple of days. And then today it was 80. Shit.
Oh, I know. It was hot today. Like I wore a hoodie, and I should not have. Oh. Took my boy to see Saw 10 last night. That's the first movie I've seen in quite a while. And then I saw like the creator was out. I didn't even know it was out. I was like, what? I wanted to see that. I mean, I'm kind of surprised at how many movies are in theaters right now that I actually want to see. Because for the longest time, it was like nothing.
My problem is that I'll want to see them and I'll get them, and then they'll be shit. It won't be what I wanted to see after all.
Hey, I had a question about a story that I think you've mentioned a story about this. So I'll see if I'm right. See if you know anything about this. But do you know of a story where they basically took the premise of Return of the Jedi but then focused on what would have happened to Endor after the Star Destroyer blew up? Not Star Destroyer, the Death Star.
Do I know of a story that does that, or a story that's like that?
Well, that's like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be it's obviously not a Star Wars story because, you know, they don't ever do the physics of that kind of thing. But I was thinking you had told me about a story where someone basically took that premise, they just looked at the science of it, that the Death Star, blowing up the Death Star should have killed everything on Endor. And I swear someone told me that there was a story like that.
I could have, but I just don't remember.
Okay. Well, I watched Sisu like all the way through finally. And I was thinking, how that's. I mean, yeah, it's like John Wick, but I would also say it's like kind of like The Man Who Never Misses, the Matador things. Like I would kind of rank.
You read that?
Huh?
You read that?
Yeah.
The Man Who Never Missed? Because I recommended that stuff a long time ago.
Yeah, you recommended it, so I read it. It was good.
Cool.
But I was thinking, you know, a
Man
story.
Who Never Missed.
A story that was okay. So basically, Return of the Jedi, but from the Ewok perspective, but not lame Ewoks, and there's no Force, and the native is basically Sisu, or the Man Who Never Misses, whatever, who recognizes pretty quickly, wait, if I help either one of these sides, we're screwed. So kind of has to do his own thing. And I just thought that'd be kind of an interesting story. That's all.
Yeah, might be. What the hell was it? I was talking about something that was similar to what we were talking about, so that it was like in the wreckage after a Star Wars battle or something like that. We were talking about doing a story, remember?
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't really about Star Wars so much as the people that were sifting through the junk to survive on it.
Right.
But there was something like that I'd seen too. I don't remember what it was.
Question is it on Discord that we talked about it, or is it on Slack?
Or on Facebook.
Oh.
Or did we talk about it on here?
On here. Oh, goodness. Ugh.
Having that problem again where I don't want to leave it the hell alone.
What?
So I'm having that problem again where I don't want to leave it the hell alone.
Huh.
So did you enjoy Saw 10?
I was entertained. I would say it's one of the better ones.
I know one of the effects guys,
What?
Dorian Clevenger.
Oh,
I'm friends with him on Facebook. He used to be a kind of dark fantasy artist, and
okay.
now he's doing special effects for movies.
Cool.
And he was doing special effects for that movie.
Well, I mean,
That's why I asked you if you enjoyed it, because, I know somebody.
so, it's one of those movies where I pay not to watch parts of it, where I'm just like, yep, that's pretty gross. That's gross. But, as stupid as it is, because I'm not really into the torture parts, I enjoy the premise. I think the premise is neat. And I was actually really interested, because this isn't a prequel, but it's shoved somewhere in the middle of other films, and I don't know, I just wanted to see how that worked, and I thought it was fine. Like I saw no problem with it whatsoever. You don't always have to keep going forward. You can have these stories, like, hey, this is what was going on at this time. I have no problem with that. Too many franchises, I think, either feel like they have to reboot, or they have to, I don't know, just keep dragging a franchise along, and they never mine some of the possibilities that still maintains continuity, still manages to make sense in the grand scheme of things. So, I don't know, I just thought it was great. I mean, overall, I was entertained. It did not feel like 2 hours long. And this is the only one where Jigsaw flat out is the protagonist. 100%, it's him. And I was like, yeah, about time. I get tired of having to follow other people who, are the protagonists of the movies, but really I care about Jigsaw. So, but I've always thought, or not always, but for years I have thought that there should be a character that's kind of like Spider-Man meets Jigsaw, because spiders set traps, and they keep their food alive for a while before and then they mess with it. I mean, it seems to me like a more fitting spider-based character than what Spider-Man actually is. So,
well, that'd be Spider-Man as a bad guy, right?
What?
I said that'd be Spider-Man as a bad guy, though.
Well, I mean, I guess technically.
Technically.
I'd say
Spider-Man's
anti-hero.
a good guy, so it's kind of hard to say that would be regular Spider-Man.
Well, yeah. Again, it's not the regular Spider-Man, and I get it, but I was thinking, I was like, yeah, if Batman can do 7, then Spider-Man should be able to do Saw. So, just how my brain works. But you didn't like the Batman, did you?
Uh, no, that's actually not what I said. What I said was
Okay.
that I liked it despite its many flaws.
Okay.
Like, I didn't like certain aspects, but other aspects I did.
All right.
What I didn't like I didn't like the Riddler in the Batman. I know a lot of people did. It's the same thing with Heath Ledger's Joker. I could take it or leave it. It wasn't special to me. It was special to other people, and I get it, but it wasn't to me.
I just remember when they first announced Heath Ledger, I thought, that's going to suck. That's terrible. I was 100% anti-Heath Ledger as Joker. And then they released the first picture of him, and I was like, nope, never mind. I stand corrected. That's perfect. I never even saw him act. I just saw the picture, and I thought, nope, that is amazing looking. I love it. So.
That's okay. I just... It wasn't Joker to me. It wasn't the Joker that I know.
And I can see that.
And the Riddler wearing a BDSM mask, that's just unimpressive to me. I'm sorry. I get how other people like the whole idea. I wasn't fond of it. I didn't think he was as smart as he should have been. I think that Batman compensated by not being as smart as he should have been either. That's how it worked.
Yeah.
Because if Batman wasn't a dipshit and would have, identified what the murder weapon was in the first murder, which, that's kind of normal procedural process, and he's supposed to be above and beyond the detectives. Yeah, those are a lot of the reasons that what it didn't work for me. But I like the movie despite that because I liked what they did with the Batmobile. I liked how it wasn't another Tim Burton Batmobile. It was very much more believable. Didn't have all these flashy lights or neon with,
Right.
but it still accomplished what it should have accomplished. It wasn't just the Batmobile. I actually really did like Colin Farrell,
Yeah.
and that was a great role for him because he didn't just appear like his normal self. He could have been De Niro. Like I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, he could be De Niro. He's believable. I don't know. I was big on Falcone. I like who they chose for Catwoman. I just didn't think Catwoman should have been in that particular story.
Yeah, he could take her out and it'd be fine.
Right.
So, I mean, you're right. It's one of those
did,
things where
I did like the way she played Catwoman. I think that was pretty good. But
I know that's one of those things where it's like she's superfluous. The storyline is superfluous. Like it just doesn't.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, but I also like seeing her. She did a good job. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of weird because it's like, on one hand, I'm like, I know it shouldn't be there, but on the other hand, I'm like, but I'm enjoying it. Well, it's there anyway, so why not?
Right.
I don't know.
I like the idea that they were making him a detective again,
Yeah,
because that's really what Batman is.
yeah.
I just didn't like that he wasn't a very good detective.
Well, I always thought, because again, he's a young Batman, and
Yeah, that's no excuse, though. I mean, your IQ doesn't grow because you grow.
uh,
It may hone, but it doesn't. It's not like any better
well, it's
than
just like
you.
when he's gliding through the city streets and then lands on that bus wrong, and it's like, okay, like that had to have happened at some point in time in Batman's career, because you don't start off being perfect, and you learn things, and so I mean it just shows his newness at the whole thing.
So,
He was a
which
so I-
legend? Which
What?
legend of Batman? Which beginning of Batman are you espousing?
Oh, I know. I understand that. I'm just saying in that movie, he was supposed to be a younger, less experienced Batman.
Yeah, less experienced Batman, but not like you're not gonna go from someone who has no clue how to be a detective to fight your way into being one. Like he wanted to fight from like Ra's al Ghul, and there's all kinds of outside elements, and that's fine. But he began as a detective. That's his roots. That's what I liked about them doing that whole thing or approaching it from that whole angle, is because even in Batman comics, you don't read him being much of a detective anymore. He's just crime fighter,
Yeah.
It's the detective part that made him special. The costume was to scare off criminals. I took it was a defense mechanism. It was to help him not have to fight. We have all the incarnations we see on film of him. It's like he's itching for a fight. I much prefer seeing him as a detective that knows how to handle himself. It's like Mike Hammer with a costume or something,
I've thought about Mike Hammer in years.
Yeah, well, I would say Spencer for hire, but Hawk gets him out of everything.
That's funny. Funny.
And honestly, Mike Hammer wasn't all that great of a detective either. He just was persistent.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, this is my major problem with the Batman, was that for someone that's supposed to be a detective, and that's the whole thing, is that he's doing the job that the cops can't do. He's missing out on detective basics, Like,
All right. I mean, I get it. I understand the point of view.
right, well, when you show up at a murder scene, first thing you do is cordon off the murder scene so there's a whole bunch of people not tromping all over the evidence. Not invite other people in to tromp all over the evidence. And you identify the killer, or not the killer, the victim, and how they died, or what the murder weapon was, if you can. Like if it's poison or whatever, you have to go through the medical examiner or whatever. But that was an obvious thing. It wasn't poison that you're looking for, And just that, those are the things that weakened it for me. But overall, in the last 5 Batman movies, aside from the very first Michael Keaton Batman movie, he didn't really have much of detective going on. That first Keaton one he did, that was the Smilex and all that shit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I liked about it, is it kind of harkened back to that first Keaton one. But it just was too weak for a detective for me, because he's not even a regular detective. And even the regular detectives didn't put it together what he used for a weapon, right? It was some street cop, beat cop that were like, "Oh, my brother-in-law kicks carpets." But yeah, I mean, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that there were flaws, and I liked it in spite of those flaws. I watched it like, I think 3 times when it first came out, like in a row.
Yeah.
Well, not in the theaters. When I first got it, I bought it.
I think I saw it twice in theaters.
I don't go to theaters that much anymore, so. In fact, I haven't been to a theater in years. So. But yeah, I bought it when it became available to buy and watch at home. My wife liked it quite a bit. And she don't normally like that kind of stuff, so. I said something for it. I don't know what it says. On the other hand, like, I know a lot of people that don't like the New Mutants movie, and I did. I know
Which
it's
movie?
not, huh? New Mutants.
Oh, it was all right.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it was the greatest movie, but I liked it. And a lot of people that I know, they're like pissed off that it didn't stay true to the comic 100% and all that. I'm like, they never do. So why would they do it now?
That is something I agree with Stephen King on, though. He always says, if they screw up the movie or whatever, they still got the book. And I agree. Like,
Well, here's the thing: how many people that you know that are going to go out and buy the book if the movie stuck?
Well, I get that, but you're not ruining the book.
And anyone that knows that it ain't right by the book has already read the book. Yep. That's the only real flaw in that theory.
I get the idea, but just saying it doesn't.
Oh, I recommend getting the book. Don't get me wrong, but everybody I know, like, oh, I don't read. I'm not a reader. Like, and they're not even ashamed of it.
Yeah, there's this kid.
And I'm talking about people that are supposedly writers that, like they're writers in comics or whatever, and they're like, oh, I don't read the book. Like, then why should anybody read what you're writing? You don't know how to write.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I've gotten and read a few. I'm not going to make any negative comments because I don't want to see anybody, lose readership. But I have not read an independent comic or a comic that's been put out in the mainstream since the 90s that I've really totally enjoyed. Yeah, I read a couple in the 90s.
I think that Gen V series, which is a spin-off of The Boys, but it
What?
takes place. Yeah, it's on Amazon. I don't know if it's out yet, but it's gonna be out. Let me see if it's on. I think the first episode might be out.
What is it?
I think it's called Gen V.
Oh, Gen 5.
Well, I mean, sure, I guess, but I think it's Gen V. Yeah, the first episode's out. I haven't watched it yet. I've only seen the trailers, but I mean, obviously, it's taking place at a school, and that there was a line in the trailer about you don't go to this school to learn. The school comes to learn, or the school is there to learn about you, or something like that. And I just thought, well, that's what that New Mutants was kind of going for,
Well,
sort of.
you know what the New Mutants is?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I mean, do you know what the New Mutants is, like comic book wise?
Yeah, I had them.
Okay, well, because
I had them when they turned over into X Force.
yeah, I had them before they turned over into X Force.
Right. Just saying. Yeah, I had them. For a while, I was enjoying New Mutants more than I liked.
So Rob Liefeld had the title.
No, there was a time when I kind of liked New Mutants better than I liked the X-Men.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, but I did.
Yeah. So the New Mutants were the younger mutants in Charles's school,
right?
And X Factor were the older retired X-Men, were the older not in the yellow or blue group of X-Men.
Right.
Well, just the way you introduced it sounded like almost like you didn't know what the New Mutants were, which is why I asked.
Well, no, you just
no, you said
asked.
It sounds like that's what the New Mutants was trying to do, and I was like, I wondered if you knew.
Just the movie, not the comic book, but the movie where they're not at the school they're not at Professor X's school. They're at that other one, kind of run by Mr. Sinister. I mean, he wasn't there, but it was Essex Corporation.
Yeah, and it wasn't really a school; that was a hospital. But yeah, it's supposed to be a hospital.
Okay, whatever. You're right. I'm saying.
I'm just saying it was supposed to be. Like I'm
right.
I'm not getting treatment or whatever. I was just trying to straighten out, making sure we're on the same page, that kind of thing.
But this idea that the school is there, and the Gen V trailers, it's the school is there to study you, not for you to study it or something. And
it sounds like Stephen King's The Shop, right?
Well, yeah, kind of. And then it also kind of reminded me of what I thought that New Mutants movie was kind of going for. But I mean, they weren't exactly studying them; they were just harvesting them.
Right.
But same basic concept.
Only slightly to the side, like.
Well, I'd say they're adjacent. But I've always thought The Shop was just. That's one of those things where I was like, I can't believe you didn't do more with that. And he never really has. And
well, because he went the other direction. Because he went from flag running the shop or being part of the shop, the flag being the devil or
Okay.
demon or whatever the hell. I'm just telling you, that's why I didn't explore it. I'm pretty sure it's because he went that way. But maybe he's going to hear you and go that
Yeah,
way.
I'm sure he's watching.
I'm sure he's not watching. Otherwise, he'd be calling me all kinds of shit because
yeah, I know.
I don't make good comments on his stuff, which I'm trying to not do anymore.
Well,
I'm trying to not comment on stuff that I don't like.
Have you ever just, you read some book and they have a term that you're just like, oh, that's the perfect term, like that's the perfect name for that, and you're just like, because you want to use. I just think the shop is perfect. It has that blue collar, working in the shop sound to it. It's got the whole kind of bourgeois, they sell stuff, evil capitalism thing going on, and I just think, yeah, like it's just the perfect term, and it's got that residence to the farm for the FBI. I mean,
Well, I'm sure that's the intent.
Yeah, but I just think it captures all of that, and I just think, wow, that's just such a great evil government entity. And I grew up knowing about the shop
with Medusa and Treadstone.
Yeah, I didn't think Treadstone was as good as the shop. Treadstone sounds like an investment place.
It was actually Medusa originally, and I like that.
It was what? Oh, Medusa. Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to indicate. Like if you watch the show, the Treadstone, they're trying to say, every time they have overseer meeting where they do bad, they just change the name. Now it's Blackbriar.
Yeah. Oh. What the heck? One of my former students posted something, and I just saw it, and now I cannot find it. Like I scrolled past, and then I thought of a funny comment, and I went back to look for it, and the damn thing is gone. Finally found it.
Any of them catch on that you're on a stream yet?
No. I suppose I should just post it on my own thing and be like, hey, come watch. I don't know why I never do that.
Because you don't want them to watch.
Oh.
I mean, that makes sense. I get it.
One of my students posted, one of my former students, she shared just this thing, I will defend green bean casserole with my life. And I said, defend from what? Ain't nobody coming for that. Which is funny because my family eats the crap out of green bean casserole.
My daughter posted like something about, you know, that fart you've been holding, just let it go, or something like that. Just let farts be free, or something. And I'm like, somebody was like, yeah, until after you're 35, and I'm like, it's not the fart you got to worry about; it's the luggage it brings.
That's nice. Oh, goodness.
Saying that for a long time with Eli, he's like, yeah, I'll smell some shit, and I'm just like, you shit? He's like, no, farted, and I'm like, did it bring luggage? Did it pack for overnight? We used to ask like my oldest son because he just refused to brush his teeth, right?
Yeah.
And he'd go, I brushed my teeth. And I'm like, with what, shit? This smells pretty fucking nasty, boy. If you brush your teeth, you need to go brush them again or use a Brillo pad.
Use a Brillo
Something
pad.
ain't fucking right. Skunk be all like, oh, this is bad.
That's lovely.
Children. It's having children, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the pleasure of having children. You know.
Oh. After all the stuff that they do, like so we owned some apartments for a while, and when we were going, like there were just 4 apartments, and I was looking to buy them, and we were going through looking at, the property.
Wow, that looks really, really red, but it's really, really pink purple.
Okay.
Like, no, it's just like I'm looking at it on screen, and it's like way, way bright, but I'm looking at it on the canvas, and it's like, no, it's not that bright. Let's see if it changes with this light. A little bit. You can see more of the texture.
Yeah.
Let's turn this light off for a second just to see. Yeah, see how that is? That is accurate. That's what I see while I'm painting.
Huh. Anyway, so we were going through to buy these apartments, and 3 of them were occupied, and I was going to live in the 4th. And we went into this woman's apartment to look at the stuff, and she was there at home, and she said the word sometimes, and that just set my son off, where he's like, sometimes a penis gets hard, and sometimes it is soft. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, no, the good part was that
if it's hard enough, it'll get soft again.
Yeah. But it's just like, whew.
It's the circle of.
Yeah. I was like, later on, you'll pay for this.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, that's the fun of having kids.
Yeah.
We're in Tampa. I actually was doing something else, and my wife had the kids with McDonald's.
Oh my goodness. McDonald's on the campus of the University of South Florida.
They had McDonald's on the campus of the University of South Florida.
We were going to Lowry Park Zoo. I had all 3 kids. Eli was just little. He was in a stroller.
Can you hear her?
Yeah.
And Kate was like 4. So it would make Logan 6, maybe 7. And we are the only Caucasian people in the entire place. And Caitlin's sitting there, and she's like, Mom, why are all these people brown? Right? And the whole place just stops. And everybody's looking at me, and I'm trying to hand out fries and nuggets and open straws. I'm like, God made people of all colors. Eat fucking nuggets, baby. No. No. Manual. That time you want to be the
Logan goes to a retirement home. He's trick or treating. He goes at the he goes as the Grim Reaper. He's like, I'll be back later.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Got it. So, yesterday, normally my second period is reserved for department work because I'm a department chair. So I don't have a class. And then I have a prep period, fifth period. And most days, like I've got time. I mean, there are days, like today I had a meeting during my department chair thing, and I've had to go and observe classes, whatever. Like there are things I've had to do, whatever. But there are plenty of days where I don't have to do that, which is kind of nice. And yesterday, third period starts, so my prep has ended. And my son goes, oh, yeah, I really need a Barbie today for my math class. It's got to be today. I've got to have it. And his math class is fifth period. So I can't go during that prep. So I have to go during my lunch, which does not make me happy, but whatever. So I go during my lunch. I have to go to 3 different places because I thought Walgreens would have a Barbie, like a cheap one. Nope, because they're closing that store, and so they don't really have any toys. And one of my students had suggested going to Dollar Tree, so I went there next. Nope, no Barbies. So I had to go to Walmart, where I found a Barbie. Found lots of them, but whatever. So I bought this Barbie, but I was like, oh no. So I got pink wrapping paper, I got a pink bow, I wrapped that thing up, and somebody's like, what? Why do you have a Barbie? Why are you wrapping a Barbie? I was like, it's my son's first period. And just...
Nowadays, it'd be a whole different story if you said that.
He did not find that amusing. But I was like, yeah, well, I didn't like running out during my lunch either. So I figured turnabout is fair play. And then, so, there are different Barbies to choose from, and I don't really care. But my son's dating a black girl, so I got him a black Barbie. Made sense to me. And she saw it. She's like, why'd you get him a black one? I'm like, clearly he has a type. I just don't know what to tell you.
That didn't go over well really either, right?
Made perfect sense to me. But
right?
His girlfriend's super cute, super nice. I hope he can keep her. So although during homecoming week they do different spirit event or spirit days during homecoming week, and one of them was class color day, and his class color was green. So he had all these green things on, but he found I think it's a Pickle Rick costume, and so he had that on too. And his girlfriend's like, I'm not kissing you while that's on. So I took it off. I was like, man, for one day you could have just forgone the smoochy smooches. But no. Although I suppose at his age I would have thought, no, I can't forgo the smoochy smooches for one day.
So. What are you talking about, Dad?
Yeah. Nope. The costume's not worth that, so. I suppose that means he's on one side of the hill and I am on the other.
I prefer to think I'm on top of the fucking hill.
Sure.
I'm king of the fucking hill. I'm probably gonna go over it pretty soon, but until then, I'm the king of the fucking hill.
Oh.
The last report from my patron said that she thought it was really good. So she's enjoying it. I hope so. Somebody should be enjoying this.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm back.
Welcome back. Kind of sounds like some Final Fantasy stuff there, huh?
That's
Somebody's
kind of what I was
trying.
thinking.
Hey, Mark.
Well, hi, Mark.
Howdy
Every
for
time.
nowdy.
What?
Howdy for nowdy is what he said.
Yeah.
Look. Howdy for
Yeah, I
nowdy.
see that.
Now you're permanent. You're part of the permanent record. He's like, nope, not
Just
permanent.
pass him through.
Not permanent. You don't want to be permanent. I don't blame you. I don't want to hang out with me either.
The Nowdy thing is on permanent record.
What?
Jake was saying more. So he was passing through. I know it's embarrassing. I have far worse out there. Funny, I thought you were saying the Goofy Nowdy thing was on permanent record.
There it is.
I never realized he was a unicorn.
The unicorn?
Look at his picture.
Well, it's very small from where I'm sitting.
Oh. Well, I have this on my big screen because I'm beautiful. But he's got a Nerf dart thing stuck in the middle of his forehead. I put that in some random thing long ago, and Google proliferated it everywhere. Is that like a euphemism? It was just that one time. I'm a lot scarier looking now.
Like, get off my lawn, scary looking. Don't start the show. We're still here. Was that G.K. Chesterton quote about dragons?
I don't know.
Mark, you there? It's not. It said something like, "You don't write stories about knights fighting dragons to prove that there are dragons. Kids already know that. It's to prove that they can be beaten."
Oh.
Something like that. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Oh, so they're like eggs.
Huh?
They can be beaten.
Ah,
Or redheaded stepchildren,
yeah,
whichever.
that's the quote, Mark. Thanks. I actually think that's a pretty cool, inspirational quote.
Yeah.
His little flex.
Mark said, I'm a big Chesterton fan. I went to one of the annual conferences of the GKC Society. Little old lady.
Huh?
LOL. Little old lady.
Oh. Whoa. How goes it with Mark tonight? Can you get a break? Or are you just popping in for lunch?
There is no break here. I'm suffering through this.
Well, it's a break from him suffering through anything else.
I know. I'm just giving you.
Hopefully, anyway.
He's like, no, this is worse.
Well, I'm sure glad you're there for moral support or whatever.
Yeah, sister-in-law has a friend visiting.
What's that?
Mark said,
Oh,
yeah, sister-in-law has a friend visiting.
Yeah, there you go. Breather.
I don't know about you, but when I was a little kid, I always thought Statler and Waldorf were like the worst characters on the Muppets. Now that I'm older, I'm like, those guys are genius. They're the best parts of that show.
Yeah, I've always loved them. I wasn't really ever fond of Scooter or even Kermit, really, because Kermit was just like, yeah, whatever. Miss Piggy was, well,
she was annoying.
See you next Tuesday.
Oh wow! Oh, that's a great picture.
What?
Mark put something on Slack. It looks kind of like that character you drew from your story.
Eep Pagoda.
Yeah.
Didn't that person have a part in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Yukon Cornelius.
That's beautiful, Mark.
Looked almost like Vince Neil.
Oh, Lord. And Mark was never heard from again.
Pick his hands up like, ah.
Ugh.
That's much better. Now he needs a red cap. Same show. Different character.
I think Mark has the best hair out of all three of us.
Right? I'm going to venture to say he has the most hair out of all three of us.
Ugh.
He does have that beard.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's kind of like you and me put together. He's had to fill in for us, is what it is.
Mm.
Yeah, right.
It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah, it is. The guy that was my predecessor as department chair, he was bald as well. And we were talking about it one day, and he's like, I got to tell you, I think if they said they could give me a pill and I'd regrow all my hair, I wouldn't take it. And I was like, I agree. Like, to have to deal with all that every morning, to have to comb it every morning. It's like, nope. I'm rather happy. I have the excuse. Oh, I went bald. Oh no. So I look at my boys, like, oh my gosh, my younger boy has long hair, and
yeah, I used to too before I went into a coma.
Well, it was just listening to him. You know, his mom will comb through it. It's just like, and he's just doing everything he can not to swear at his mom. And I'm like, there's a simple, easy solution to this. To which normally I get told to F off at that point.
Tough enough.
Just like, I like being get out of the shower and stuff.
Where I grew up, we wrestled, hair was pulled, and you were thrown down by it.
Who needs to comb?
Man. Pretty soon you got immune to it, because if not, you're going to be hurting and crying. No. So hopefully we won't have any more problems with meat cutting out. The internet upgrade should take care of that, hopefully. Yeah, the internet company that we went through decided that they just arbitrarily would up the bill $40.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, no particular reason, but we just want $40 more. Yeah, me too. So we got new internet service at half the price. That's faster and the guy that installed it subscribed to our channel.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought so too. I was watching a history documentary on one of the channels, and he's like, "Oh, I listen to that channel all the time." He asked if it was a certain channel. It was not that channel. But when I told him what channel it was, he's like, "Oh yeah, I listened to that one too." So, but, yeah, he had noticed all the trophies that we have in the basement, and he's all like, you got a lot of tattooing trophies in the basement." And I'm like, yeah. Should be somewhere near 198 of them, 196 of them. Huh. I think it's actually 194. Because the other two awards that are in there, one is for writing and one is for painting. Hey, I'm glad that you went and saw that movie because, like I said, I have a friend that was working on it. And I don't really watch horror movies. I haven't watched any of the solos. I haven't watched really a horror movie since. I can't even remember the last one I watched. I'm guessing it was like a Hellraiser or something. Or it was a redo of one of the other ones, and I was like, yeah, without it. But I want to see it be successful because I want to see him be successful.
Right.
He's a hell of an artist. You haven't seen his work before?
Not that I know of, but
Let's see. That's a nice big one.
oh, fun.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, it's really dark stuff, but it's a hell of a good artist. I think he used to play bass in a band too. I don't know how much I can get away with showing because a lot of the stuff that he does is not safe for work, right? It's not safe for work either, but it's smaller, so maybe.
It's funny because I mean I get that the subject matter is dark, but the color palette isn't. Like it's pretty vibrant color palette. That creates kind of a very cool energy there.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. It's got a mermaid. Got quite a few like Lady Death. There's a mermaid. And that's a small version. There's a big one? No, that's not a bigger one. Let's see. And this is also all acrylic.
Nice.
That's one. There's a couple of them that are really, I mean, I think his work's really good anyway, but there's a couple of them that are pretty interesting. Another mermaid. Well, I guess there's a couple more mermaids he's done, but one in particular I'm looking for that I saw in the smaller version, but I couldn't find when I wanted to. Let's see if I... Nope, it ain't gonna show it to me. I can't hunt it down and paint, so going back to painting. At least for a little bit. I think I'm, pretty close to a point where I'm gonna have to pause for the night because if not, I'm going to be going right into the warrior and this guy. Which I really can't wait to do, but it's not going to be an hour thing.
Oh.
that thing I hate?
What?
Oh, I hit it so much that instead of darkening it with another pass, it lifted some.
Oh.
I think I learned by now, but apparently I want it to be the hard way. Guess I can understand where my kids get it from. Just thinking, I've got a fan blowing on me. It should, help. I even gave it a minute while I was looking up those Dorian pictures. Thought I was being generous and shit. It is getting there, huh? Finally.
I think so.
I need to find something to lay across here, though, without covering the blood. So maybe need the perfect thing. We all know how that's going to work. I feel like Blackie Lawless when he set off his codpiece cannon and lit his balls on fire.
Okay.
Yeah, when he's backstage, he's like, if we wrote better songs, I wouldn't have to do this shit. I totally feel that. I was a better painter.
Mark says, "All right, guys, off to other things. God bless and good night."
Yep, God bless him and good night. Hmm. It's that Final Fantasy sound again. To be honest, I love this trailer music type stuff. It is that's stuff for me to write to. Hmm.
Whew.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a short stream. Because that just sets it up for me doing her. All the smaller detail stuff I'm going to hit later on. Like I've got some in here, but I can go in to her in the serpent thing. I like that idea. Her, the action, the serpent thing is ready. But it's not dry enough to hit it yet. Fortunately, though, this looks a lot darker now with that light on it
Yeah.
than it did before I turned the lights off to show you how it looks.
It's kind of weird how much that changes it.
Yeah, it's going to be too when I come back into her because the highlights I think are going to be a very light blue because of the time of day.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to be backlit a little bit, but other than the rim light, I think the shinier parts of her skin are going to be light blue. So I'm going to go from a brown tint to a light blue. Brown, orange, whatever. So, yeah, Mark shared that quote in the Slack. I'm going to go full screen for a minute. This probably won't save it, but I'm going to try to get it so that it'll give it a picture of this and the progression. I think I'll have to cut out the. There we go. It's not a completely full picture, but it's pretty close.
Yep.
A little bit off the bottom, and then a little bit off the top. But yeah. Those walls look a lot more like I wanted them to. They're not quite perfect, but that's good enough for this pass until I get her basics in. Then I'm going to fine tune everything, you know.
Right.
All right, 2 hours. Ooh. So I'm going to end it here.
Cool.
Everyone that's liking the process, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications if you want more, to see more, to know when we're doing this. Thank you all for showing up. Good night. God bless. Much love.
Peace.